This is CBC Here and Now.
Oh, this is certainly a tragedy. I mean, any time like this, even though we're big in numbers, we're very much a rural community. So when this happens, the ripple effect runs throughout our town.
2 people dead at a home in Upper Gullies. Police aren't saying much, but they're on the scene and they are asking for help. But first, let's get to our top story this evening. A winter storm coming right on Christmas Eve. Good evening, I'm Anthony Germain. Up to 25 centimeters of snow expected for parts of the province, even more in some other areas. So let's bring Ashley in for the big question that's on every kid and mom and dad's mind. Is Santa going to be able to make it? Ashley?
Well, Anthony, he's certainly going to need Rudolph because, yes, we do have the next system going to move in as we head through the night tonight. We can already start to see some of that cloud cover. This is the system here. It's going to ramp up tonight, going to bring some snow starting in the west coast. We have a number of warnings in place, including snowfall warnings, winter storm warnings, and that's going to spread towards the metro area by the time early tomorrow morning rolls around. Some snow, lots of snow, heavy at times, will envelop most of the island, and I will have all the details on just how much and when to expect everything coming up.
All right, stay tuned for that. Now, the impending storm has also prompted government to shut down offices right across the province tomorrow, and the airlines have travel advisories in place as well. The storm will not only make travel more difficult, but also parking in St. John's could be a bit of a problem. The city is going to be implementing its on-street parking ban at 12:30 tomorrow night, so just after midnight, and that means no overnight parking allowed on city streets outside the downtown area. And this afternoon, Public Works Manager Lynn Windsor spoke about the early parking ban and how crews will tackle storm cleanup.
It looks like that we're getting a snowfall tomorrow and another one on Boxing Day. So this is what we refer to as back-to-back storms. So we will have full crews in, so that's our 3-shift system. So, you know, it's all hands on deck for this week. Unfortunately, we are going to be implementing the parking ban a little early this year to, you know, to help with snow clearing efforts and make sure that the roads are all safe for any emergency vehicles that need to access any homes in the area. The parking ban will come into effect basically tomorrow night, so 12:30 a.m. Christmas morning. So it's the regular parking ban that comes into effect every year. So from 12:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. you're not permitted to park your car on the streets. And that basically because it does interfere with snow clearing efforts. It takes us longer to snow clear and we can't clear as effectively as we'd like to. The downtown area, the business district parking ban will also come into effect. So that means no cars can be left on Duckworth Street or Water Street in certain areas. And once again, you can check our website for specific locations from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. The most important message for drivers in and around the city is just to be safe and have some patience. So we do work with a priority system. So we stick with our priority 1s and 2s while it's snowing heavily. And as the snow starts to stop falling or taper off, that's when we move out to our 3 and 4 priorities. So just, you know, be safe, take your time. Maybe if you don't have to go anywhere, maybe you don't, but our crews will be doing their best to keep all roads open so that everyone can enjoy their Christmas season.
And now to Conception Bay South, where a rural neighborhood is still reeling today following 2 sudden deaths over the weekend. Tonight, police are pleading for help as investigators try to determine just what happened. Here now's Terry Roberts has that story.
Roberts Road is once again a quiet, peaceful street today. But the presence of 2 police cars and yellow tape around house number 45 is a reminder that something terrible happened here. A man and woman, both in their 50s, found dead on the property shortly after 5 o'clock on Saturday. Police aren't saying why they went to this specific home, other than they got a call.
At this time, we're asking that if anybody has any information which may assist investigators, please contact the RNC or Crime Stoppers.
The Major Crimes Unit is investigating. The Chief Medical Examiner is trying to determine the causes of death. Police were offering few details today, but CBC has learned the man and woman were a couple, both with deep ties to the community of Upper Gullies. The man was dealing with a long sickness, was a long-time employee with the town of CBS, and grief counseling services were being made available today to the 200 staff who wanted it. There were no children involved. and neighbors say they did not hear anything out of the ordinary before police and other responders swarmed the street. The family of the dead woman was also in the dark today, with the father telling CBC this afternoon he hasn't been told by police how or why his daughter died. He said his daughter was busy working 2 jobs and seemed happy. Neighbors say she was outgoing, friendly. They say he kept to himself. CBS Mayor Terry French says it's a reminder for all citizens to look out for each other.
Let's all please step up on a time like this. I mean, it's a tragedy any time of year, but certainly this close to Christmas has obviously amplified that much more.
You know, certainly this is a tragedy, and certainly the time of year as well is, creates certainly a sad situation. We do send our condolences to the family and friends of the deceased.
Police say there is no threat to public safety as a result of this tragedy, and that their investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, it's a sobering scene. A house decorated for the holidays, a big effort, yet also the scene of a horrible tragedy. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Conception Bay South.
Police are also investigating a death in central Newfoundland tonight. A 51-year-old man from Lewisport died Sunday morning after the side-by-side he was on went off the road. The medical examiner's office is working to determine the cause of death. Well, the political story with the most staying power this year was arguably the Carla Foote affair. It involved a well-connected Liberal staffer getting a high-paying job at the Rooms without an interview. There were patronage accusations from the opposition, a report finding wrongdoing, and eventually a reluctant apology from the minister responsible. And that story dominated public discourse and much of a year-end interview with the Premier, who denies he had any involvement.
No, I didn't direct Carla Foote. It wasn't a suggestion that would have come from me here in this office. People make decisions and people move around government all the time. It's part of professional development. It's part of succession planning. This was not a direction that came from me. And I didn't ask anybody, didn't suggest anybody to go around processes. You know, what's been reviewed here has been a long-standing process that has been around government for many, many years.
Well, later in the show, we'll air the first half of my year-end interview with the Premier, where we discuss what happened with the hiring at the Rooms. Part 2 tomorrow deals with other policy issues. Well, tonight there is proof that Christmas magic does exist and that miracles can come true. Last week, we told you about a man from Zimbabwe who inadvertently left his passport in a bag that he returned to a Winners store in St. John's. Desperate for help, he reached out to CBC News, and now tonight, as Here and Now's Jeremy Eaton explains, he has his passport back and quite a bit more from the family who found it.
We're getting the passport now. I'm so excited, because I never saw this day coming.
Leonard Maura is full of holiday cheer and hope after his passport came back. On Sunday morning, he met a very special Secret Santa.
Are you April? Oh, yes! Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness! Come in.
Earlier this month, Maura bought a few bags at this Winners in St. John's. He returned one of them, but accidentally left his passport and other travel documents inside. By the time he had realized it, the bag had been resold. Without his passport, he missed his flight home, his brother's funeral, a wedding. Last week, he made a plea to CBC.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Leonard Maura. I really need your help.
When I bought the bag at Winners...
Enter April Day, swooping in like a guardian angel. While wrapping gifts on Saturday night, she found what Maura has been desperately looking for.
To the side, and this thing was kind of on top, and I was like, what is this? So I was like opening up the bag, and I was like, looking at it. And then I opened it up, and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy on TV.
On Sunday, the 26-year-old got handed the most important documents he owns, his Zimbabwe passport and his student visas.
Is this actually happening? Because, I never saw this day coming, to be honest. I actually thought maybe this whole Christmas I'm just going to be here.
Like many Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, the Day family did not want to see Maura stuck. They gave him the gift he needed most of all.
We would like to donate, get him a ticket so that he can return home to his
Sorry,
family.
what? What are you going to do?
I'm going to provide Leonard with a ticket so that he can return home to his family and enjoy his Christmas.
So now I was actually thinking, how am I even going to buy this ticket? So I'm actually happy, and thank you so much for doing that for
Oh,
me.
you're so welcome. I'm so happy to be a part of this and that you can go home with your family. That's very important.
On top of the flight home, the Day family says that Maiora is one of their own and that he'll be welcome for every holiday meal. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
What warms your heart at Christmas time?
My family and my friends.
Seeing it all through their eyes is the most heartwarming for me.
Christmas includes everybody, and that's what's important. It's just, everybody feels the warmth of the season.
What'd you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
And if you've been too busy to make your donations, of course, go to our website. We're still taking donations till the end of the month. Well, food banks, they do their best to put food on the tables of those who need it through the holiday season. In Nain, though, just having enough food is a constant battle. In fact, according to a 2017 survey, nearly 80% of the households in the Labrador community don't have food security. Now, the Nain Food Bank is trying to change that, and this Christmas, it is marking 1 year of operation. Here now's Jacob Barker has that story.
Rows of cans and stacks of boxes. Keeping the shelves stocked at the Tahwahautik Food Bank means planning ahead. Once the marine shipping season ends for the winter, the only way to get freight into the community is by air, and that comes with extra costs. So planning ahead is essential.
Well, we really have cases and cases of stuff that is supposed to last us the whole year.
Nain far outweighs the provincial and national levels of food insecurity. Nearly 8 out of 10 households in the community experience it, so the new food bank here is playing a vital role.
For some households, that means maybe being unsure or worried that they'll be able to make ends meet by the end of the month, whereas for other households, it might mean adults or even children going a whole day without eating.
And like other food banks, it's looking for donations to make it happen. They do receive monetary donations to help purchase staple items inside the community, but for other things, it needs to look outside the region.
Difficulties with shipping and getting food into the community, and the fact that we don't want to rely solely on the community to be providing donations for the food bank. So we're trying to be really creative and looking outside the community and outside the region to try to source some of those donations.
This Christmas means 1 year for the food bank.
It was one of the big pushes last year to get the food bank up and running before Christmas for exactly that reason. So it's kind of a special time for us, I suppose.
Canned soup.
And they're making a difference. For the holidays this year, they also want to collect toys for kids and turkeys and geese for holiday dinners. Their hope is to ease the extra financial pressures on families during the holiday season.
I think this is a time where we really could just help people just feel a bit more content and more comfortable with the food situation in their homes. And then with the toy drive, just being able to help out and just spread that little bit of joy to the kids.
Joy and family, and one less worry for the holidays. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Nain.
Well, now to an international story that Newfoundlanders are playing a fighting role in. It's those horrible wildfires in Australia. There was yet another death over the weekend, meaning those massive flames have now claimed at least 6 lives. An entire town was destroyed as flames tore across the eastern states. Fending off criticism for taking a holiday with the country in crisis, the Prime Minister says monitoring climate change is a priority.
What I know is that the need to take action on climate change hasn't changed, and you don't run government on sentiment, you run government on the facts, and you run government on what you need to do to protect our environment.
Now this is the stark terrain left behind by weeks of wildfires. Several hundred homes went up in flames over the weekend as well. Firefighters, including crews from this province, are being hampered by record high temperatures that have climbed well into the 40s Celsius. The heat and drought are also devastating for wildlife. Today, a cooling trend sparked a little bit of hope. There are still, though, about 100 fires burning across New South Wales. A dramatic rescue at sea this weekend. The Italian Coast Guard went into great effort to save 12 sailors after their ship crashed into a cliff. Now, this cargo ship was heading to Spain when it got caught in a storm Saturday night. And trying to find shelter from rough seas, the vessel smashed into the rocks that you see there near the shore. Search and rescue teams performed some daring rescue maneuvers, and everyone wound up safe and unharmed. Something of a holiday miracle and something extra to celebrate this week. Well, back home now, different celebrations. We have some curling champs to tell you about. Ryan McNeil Lambswood has won the Provincial Junior Curling 5 times, and his latest title came in Corner Brook. Here now's Troy Turner reports.
And McNeil Lambswood has been curling longer than he can remember, literally. The Stephenville athlete has been going to the club since he's been 3 or 4. At age 13, he competed in his first provincial curling championship. His rink didn't win a game, but he didn't give up. In 2015, he won his first title and then won 4 of the next 5 years.
It felt like such a big thing at the time that just winning it once would be absolutely the best thing that I've ever done in junior curling. So I mean, to be able to win it 5 times is pretty crazy.
McNeil Lambswood throws third stones with the Daniel Bruce rink out of Corner Brook. The team embodies camaraderie. It's important, as trust is vital in curling, as is keeping cool under pressure.
These guys like each other, and they say there's no I in team. These guys, Ryan in past years actually changed positions so we could bring another person in. So I mean, there's no ego on this team, and that's a large part of why they're successful.
His 5 wins put him 1 shy of the 6 provincial titles of Brad Guju. McNeil Lambswood is quick to downplay his own personal accomplishments, however. Instead, he brings credit to his teammates and keeps his focus on the next tournament ahead.
I don't think I'm gonna stop curling, for sure. I'm gonna keep going, and I'm just gonna try to keep getting better. And if I make the transition to men's, there'll certainly be some growing pains, but there are growing pains I'm willing to go through just to get better and continue to do the sport I love.
McNeil Lambswood is taking it 1 step at a time, and while he's not sure what's going to happen at next year's provincial championship, he does have a goal in mind for Langley, BC, and that's to earn a playoff spot at the national tournament. Troy Turner, CBC News, Corner Brook.
I think if you speak to the cabinet members and MHAs in general, they would have been disappointed with some of the remarks that they made themselves.
The Premier sits down to answer some difficult questions. Here and Now's one-on-one year-end interview with Premier Dwight Ball. Part 1 is next. Welcome back. It was cold this morning.
It was a little
really
chilly,
cold.
especially here in St. John's. Anyway, it was the coldest morning so far, minus double digits. Let's take a look at where we sat as you walked out the door this morning, or at least at some point, depending on when you got out this morning. But minus 11, minus 12 in the St. John's area, and coldest was Badger at minus 23. And then, at least on the island anyway, Lab City, you were sitting at minus 28 this morning, so you're certainly laughing when I say minus 12 today. But temperatures warmed up quite nicely, minus 16 for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. Then we've got those temperatures in the minus single digits for most of the island. And as we start to move through the next couple of hours, we are going to see that system that I mentioned a little bit earlier that's going to bring all that snow. Starting to see that cloud cover move in, and that snow will be right along with it. Now for Lab West, you're going to see that snow tonight in not much, anywhere from 2 to 5 centimeters for you. And then the system really starts to get its act together, heading towards the west coast overnight tonight along the south coast. Especially around the Burgeo area, you could pick up anywhere from 15 to 20 centimeters by the time tomorrow morning rolls around. Otherwise, that snow should start around 6 a.m. for the metro area. And then that's going to continue through the day. So overnight lows dipping to about minus 7 for St. John's, minus 11 for Grand Falls, Windsor. Those winds will be generally light. They'll ramp up by morning. And then temperatures for Lab City, minus 13. Coldest will be for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. You're looking at a low near minus 26 tonight. So here's a look at that low pressure system, at least what the future tracker is showing for tomorrow afternoon. Most of that snow sticking around, heavy at times for the island. Northern Peninsula, you're going to get to sit this one out. It looks like only a trace to maybe 2 centimeters of snow expected for you. But the Avalon, especially around the southern half of the Avalon, that's where we could see a little bit of rain mixed in. But overall, the majority of the snow will fall essentially for Bonavista Peninsula through to the Avalon, and then again the south coast. The 15 to 20 centimeters, as I mentioned, by morning for Burgeo. Otherwise, this is what's going to fall tomorrow afternoon. So this is going to fall by Christmas morning, and a good 10 to 20 centimeters pretty much everywhere else. Here's the timeline for what we're expecting for St. John's and the metro region. So by tomorrow morning through to noon, expect about 5 to 10 centimeters on the ground, and then those winds out of the southeast about 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. As we head into the afternoon, more snow accumulation, somewhere between 10 to 20 in total. By the time 6 p.m. rolls around, those temperatures climbing up to about and hovering around the 0 degree mark. So it could be some really wet snow. And then those winds will eventually shift to northerlies overnight and pick up. Now, tomorrow afternoon, because of these winds and because of the snow, we'll more than likely see blowing snow through the day, but we'll eventually taper to flurries, picking up another additional potentially 5 to maybe as much as 10 more centimeters in some areas, bringing those accumulations to somewhere between 20 to 25 centimeters by midnight on Wednesday, or at least, Wednesday morning. This is Christmas morning. So those winds, again, even though things are going to taper off flurry-wise, those winds are going to ramp up. And temperatures tomorrow really across the board, you're going to see sitting in the minus single digits. Minus 3 for Corner Brook, Harbour Breton sitting and hovering around the 0 degree mark. Again, down along the southern half of the Avalon, we could see some rain mixed in, but you're still going to pick up anywhere from 10 to about 20 centimeters of snow with that. St. Anthony, minus 1 tomorrow. Going to be actually can't talk today. A nice day for you tomorrow with some flurries. Minus 12 for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. Minus 11 for Lab City and Nain. Plenty of sunshine, minus 12, but those winds will ramp up late day. So it's not just the snow that we're getting in time for Christmas. The good news is the loop at Bannerman Park open today. Here, have a look.
We're here skating at the loop. Just opened.
Yeah, it just opened today, and it's such a beautiful day.
Yeah, gorgeous day, not too cold, not windy. I guess before the storm comes, we got to get it in.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of snow coming. Are you happy about that or sad about that?
I think it'll be nice to have a white Christmas and a little bit of snow. Hopefully tomorrow we can make a snowman and stuff, so that'll be fun.
What is it you love most about Christmas?
Sitting with our family and opening presents with them.
It's a nice day out, so we wanted to come get some fresh air.
What do you think about the fact that the loop has opened up right in time for Christmas?
Because we were debating if it was going to be open, because we weren't sure for yesterday if it was going to open or not.
There hasn't been a lot of cold weather yet this year, so it's nice.
Oh, only a couple more days until the big day. What do you think about that?
It's very cool and exciting.
What's your favorite part of Christmas?
Giving.
Do you have anything left to do?
I have to wrap presents.
Yeah, I have to wrap presents too.
I got that done last night.
Are you all ready for Christmas?
That's a good question. Hopefully we are. I think we're as ready as we're going to be.
A beautiful day. Well, it is the time of year that the Premier generally grants a year-end interview. It's a tradition, a time to reflect on all that's happened, the good, the bad, and of course, the rest of it. Well, one of the big stories of the year, Carla Foote, the daughter of former Liberal MP and current Lieutenant Governor Judy Foote, was given a job at the Rooms without competition late last year. Questions were raised back then, but the story was thrust back into the headlines this month when a report looking at the hiring process was leaked to the CBC. The Citizens' representative found Minister Christopher Mitchell-Moore broke the code of conduct when he hired Foote and increased the salary for her new position. He was later made to apologize and take 2 weeks leave without pay. Well, I took the year-end opportunity to ask Premier Dwight Ball about the Rooms and its staffing situation, but first, I started off by asking him questions about his leadership. Well, Premier, thank you for inviting me into your office.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
As you know, some people loyal to you this week tried to delay next year's leadership convention. Why would you want to delay being reviewed next year?
I'm ready for the review in February. That would be my response. I'm ready for this. This is something that we knew was coming. This is part of a very progressive constitution that only the Liberal Party in Newfoundland and Labrador would have. I've been through 2 reviews already, been through 2 elections, and had a very extensive leadership challenge in 2013 when we was widely contested and came out of that. So I'm not afraid of reviews or not afraid at all to take on
But
the challenge.
why would people loyal to you, such as the President, John Allen and Rodney Mercer, why would they have a motion to move it?
I wasn't at that table.
Right.
They make decisions, but certainly not on my request at all. I'm ready to go for a leadership challenge at any point. It's part of our Constitution, and I am proud of our Constitution. If someone told me that we're going to do this in February, March, or April, whenever it is, I've been ready in the past, and I'll be ready, for the next one.
This past session, as you know, you had some cabinet difficulties. Perry Tripper had to quit for a racially charged phone call. Jerry Byrne had to apologize to the House after making some interesting accusations pertaining to racism, and most recently, Christopher Mitchell-Moore, he had to apologize for his role in hiring Carla Foote. Why has it been so difficult for you as Premier to actually control the political agenda?
We are controlling the political agenda. We put in 13 pieces of legislation this fall session. Many of them impact Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. That didn't get broad coverage. That went through the House of Assembly with support from opposition parties. So the legislative agenda that's getting through, I think if you speak to the cabinet members and MHAs in general, they would have been disappointed with some of the remarks that they made themselves. That's been obvious. But one of the things that did not get reported is that we're seeing the same thing from opposition parties as well. We've had lots of new opposition members, MHAs, would have had to retract many statements that's been made that were not parliamentary comments in this session as well. So minority government, as there is an adjustment, there's no question about that. But we've been disappointed. I've said that publicly. So have my members, so have my ministers. We got to do better, and we will.
I want to ask you a couple of pointy questions. When you told me and other reporters that you never directed anybody to hire Carla Foote, is that because it was you yourself who offered her the job?
No, I didn't direct Carla Foote. It wasn't a suggestion that would have come from me here in this office. People make decisions and people move around government all the time.
Quote, the executive committee felt that there was little they could do, this is the executive committee of the Rooms, that they could do given that the Premier had made the offer to Ms. Foote. So do you think people watching us right now believe that you, Dwight Ball, had nothing to do with Carla Foote getting that job? Do you believe that?
Well, if you look at the CEO and the submission that he made, that didn't come from him. Didn't speak to the CEO, didn't speak to the board about any of this. These were comments that were made, not from me, not from any meeting that would have occurred for me. I did not direct anyone to put Carla Foote into the Rooms.
It's almost as though either you or the leadership expect people to believe that Christopher Mitchellmore woke up one morning and said, you know what? I think I'm going to move Carla Foote to the rooms with no documentation, no job interview, and he just came up with this on his own. I mean, how did this happen?
Well, when you look at it, there was a couple of people that were hired at the rooms around the same time without a job interview. Right now, we're talking about Carla Foote. The report is back. I'm going to fix this, Anthony.
Okay.
It needs to be fixed, no different than I would have done with the Independent Appointments Commission. A few years ago, if you were a friend, the Tories did a great job at this. If you were a friend, you got a key appointment. I've changed that in 2016. 2,600 people have went through a merit-based process through the Independent Appointments Commission. Over 600 people are in positions now that many of them thought they would never have had. More women have gone through the merit-based process through the Independent Appointments Commission and leading key agencies within our government as a result of the changes that I put in place in 2016, and I will make the same necessary changes that will fix the way executives and managers are moved around government.
Now that same report, which condemned Mr. Mitchellmore for gross misconduct, when we asked you about that, you said he was staying in your cabinet because he was a young, hard-working minister, and I think everybody, despite his selfies and his quirkiness, everyone recognizes he's a hard-working minister. However, you called him a loyal soldier, right? You're the general. Wasn't he just following your orders?
I am so glad you brought that up, because I didn't call him a loyal soldier because he followed my orders. No, I did not. The context that I said that in was this was a young minister that sat through 2 or 3 days in the House of Assembly when his name was virtually on every sentence. It was on the public airways every day. He had a lot of support in his district. He did not take direction from me at all. The context of calling him a loyal soldier was not that. He's been working extremely hard. He's worked hard for his district. He's been a hard-working minister. That was the context that I made that comment in, not the context that he took a direction from a general. That was not the case.
Well, let me put it this way before we move on. Mr. Tripper had to quit. Mr. Joyce had to quit. Mr. Kirby had to quit. But the person who you called a loyal soldier in that context that you clarified, Mr. Mitchellmore, he gets to stay. And I would suggest to you that within your caucus and your cabinet, there is profound disappointment about that. And I wonder if you can literally feel power slipping away.
No, I don't, not at all. And I think that right now we have priority around rate mitigation, around electricity rates. These are all priorities for me as leader of this party. These are what people are asking me to deal with as well.
Now join me for part 2 of our interview tomorrow night, in which we're going to talk about the challenging issues facing the province. And now, as you can imagine, our interview was extensive. It was edited for Here and Now for brevity here tonight. But you can see the full one-on-one sit-down interview I had with Dwight Ball on our CBCNL website, as well as on our YouTube channel anytime. And I was just checking some facts here on my phone. We have a breaking story, a sad story to tell you about now. We're just learning that a man died in a diving incident in the province today. First responders were called to a report of a person in distress in the water in the community of Bear Need in Conception Bay North. Bay Roberts RCMP and fire rescue units received the call just after 2 o'clock that somebody was in the water near the Anglican Church in that community. Now, Bear Need is a small community near Port de Grave. We do know the man was in his 40s, but no further details are available at this time. We'll try to update that when we get more information on our website, cbc.ca/NL. Welcome back. Tonight we're starting a series that looks at the neighborhoods of St. John's, how they've changed over the years, and what they face in the future. Up first tonight, Kenmount Road, a section of the city that is all about the cars. There are hundreds and hundreds of vehicles for sale along the road, and then there are all those parking lots, and they're full of cars, the malls and businesses. In this episode of Neighborhoods, we take a ride with someone whose family was a Kenmount Road pioneer.
Well, my name is Bert Hickman. I'm the co-owner of the Hickman Automotive Group along with my brother Jonathan Hickman. Our dad was the dealer, and his dad was a dealer before that, and our great-grandfather was the original founder of the business. My grandfather had then taken over the business in the mid-40s, and his name was Edgar. He certainly wasn't afraid of risk and would often try many different things, many different businesses, but he saw the city growing, and in 1955 he bought this, or 65, sorry. He bought this property that we're on today. That's right, we just left Water Street and Waldegrave, and you know, we've been doing zigzags and turns and going up hills and around corners, and that's the way the road. We have to follow the road because that was a cart path or it was a trail. And that's how the city evolved, because the whole, you know, the evolution of St. John's was it was a harbor community. So everything started down by the harbor, and as the city expanded, it grew up over the hill, but all these trails became paved roads. So as we're driving to Kenmount Road, we're going through all these turns, which I guess was a trail back in the day, now it's a paved road. But when we get to the bottom of Kenmount Road, if you note, it's a very straight road, which must have meant that there's nothing built past then. When they put Kenmount Road, there was nothing there, so they had the opportunity to put a straight road and not follow a car path anymore. I wish you could bring people back from the past and bring my family members back from the past, my great-grandfather or my grandfather particularly, because I know him so well, and my dad, to see where things are and just to see what happened with the business. And some of the things he talked about, you know, he saw it 24 years ago about how things were evolving. Well, I think everybody has a story or a memory, or your mom's car, your dad's car, or your brother had one of these. And cars, you know, they've always had, there's so much styling, it always changes, it evolves with eras, and you know, you look at the cars from the 50s and all the big fins and things, and then all that disappeared when it went through the 60s, and then cars in the 70s were all pretty cool. Cars in the 80s and 90s became pretty plain and no styling and no design. And now you start looking at the cars that are coming out again, the styling features and things that they're putting in them, plus the technology. You look at the mall and how that has evolved, and it continues to evolve. Look at the big expansion. They tore Sears off after Sears went out of business. They tore that whole piece off, and I thought they were going to reduce the size of the mall, and now they're continuing to expand to it again. Couldn't pass A&W without talking about that, going there and parking as a kid with my parents and bringing out the tray of food and hanging it on your window and speaking through the speaker on what you want, and they come out on roller skates. And you know, Thursday nights we go there with our old cars. I see Kenmount Road looking much like it is today. You know, I don't see it changing a lot. The car dealerships aren't going to leave Kenmount Road. I mean, we're all here, we're all invested. If you go up and down Kenmount Road, you know, all the dealers, which are all friends of ours, have all made substantial investments in their properties, and they're doing wonderful jobs to enhance what Kenmount Road continues to look like. So we're going to be here for a long time in the car business.
Certainly a lot of hustle and bustle happening in the province today, and despite all the snow that's coming, a lot of people probably doing that again tomorrow for the stores and people rushing out for those last-minute errands. But we want to help you take a bit of a breather tonight, so we have a musical treat. It goes back to 1999. Here's Holy Heart of Mary School Choir performing from the Murray premises in St. John's.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous. I don't normally consume drinks like this out of a salt beef bucket. That's not really my thing.
Yes, a drink that comes straight out of a beef bucket, and one that's pretty popular this time of year. We'll tell you all about it next. Welcome back. Okay, just 2 days to go. You gave us a sense of all the snow we're going to get tomorrow. What about the big day itself? Christmas.
Yeah, white Christmas for sure by the time you wake up Christmas morning, but it does look like things will taper off a little bit. We'll see a little bit of a lull in the weather for Christmas Day. So certainly good news there. Let's take a look at the future tracker. Now the flurry activity does stick around through the day, and that's because that low pressure system sits off the coast, and that's going to play a role in the weather as we head into the end of the week as well. So we'll certainly keep, I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit, but there's where we're sitting by the time Thursday morning rolls around. Those temperatures will be pretty similar to what we're going to see tomorrow, although those windy conditions will stick around. So even though things will taper off, the snow that is on the ground will be whipped up around through the day on Wednesday, so we could see some blowing snow through the day, certainly. Up through Labrador, -12 for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, -8 for Nain. So those temperatures are actually going to jump up, and then Lab City, you're going to sit around -14 for your Christmas Day. Otherwise, again, just that potential for some flurries and then those windy conditions across the island. Now, I showed you haven't really showed you these warnings yet, but here's where we're sitting as far as warnings go. Special weather statement along the west coast. This is for tomorrow. Same thing as far as those snowfall warnings, but these winter storm warnings are actually, for parts of central anyway, are actually because of the system that is going to affect us for Boxing Day. So some more snow expected, and again, it's that same low pressure system that is affecting us tomorrow. That's going to sit offshore and bring some more snow, mainly for pretty much Green Bay, White Bay, along the coast all the way to the Avalon. Again, picking up as much as 10 to 20 more centimeters of snow with this one, and then even more windy conditions expected through the day. So we'll certainly have more details on that forecast tomorrow as it becomes a little bit more clear, but certainly keep that in mind if you have any more travel plans at the end of the week. So heading into Friday, things will actually get pretty nice. They should clear out a little bit, and then by the time Saturday rolls around, some more snow moving in for Lab West, and then potentially the southern portion of the island as well. So a little bit of a 1-2 punch on the way this week. Here's where your temperatures will be sitting around -1 to 1 degree really across the board. Going to be generally gray. There's your Thursday forecast with those windy conditions, 1 degree. And then the weekend, or heading at least towards the weekend, looks like we should taper to flurry. So that's certainly good news there. For central Newfoundland, sunshine, the story for Wednesday. Finally going to see some sun return for both Friday and Saturday, and those temperatures will be sitting in the minus single digits. For the west coast, by the time Saturday rolls around, you may see a few peaks of sun, but overall generally gray, with the chance of flurries or light snow continuing. And then for eastern Labrador, -12 for Wednesday, Thursday, your Christmas Day. By Thursday, a little bit of a warm up and then a drop right back down into those minus double digits. But it does look like sunshine is in store for you. Now for western Labrador, sunshine by the time Thursday and Friday rolls around, but your temperatures will still be sitting in the minus teens by Saturday with the return of that snow. Anthony?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, it is a frozen concoction loved by thousands of people in this province, and yes, it's best made in a rather unusual container. Here's the CBC's Andy Bullman with the best way to make a good Christmas slush.
Today we're making a traditional Newfoundland dish that has completely confused me and bewildered me for some time. We're making slush. We've got our salt beef bucket, we've got ginger ale, we've got cans of juice, and we've got sugar. So we're gonna mix it all together, but before we do any of that, we're gonna wash out our salt beef bucket because we don't want any of that beefy flavor in there. That's not what we're going for. Then we're gonna stir it all together, freeze it overnight, and hope it turns out. Wish me luck.
Okay, I made my slush last night. It's pretty frozen, the texture seems right. So we're gonna go find some Newfoundlanders and see if it passes muster. Okay. I've got some slush that I made. Is slush part of your traditional holiday?
I've definitely I've participated for sure.
Tell me, does it need to be in a salt beef bucket?
Always. Every bit of slush I've ever had was in a salt beef bucket, so absolutely, it's a tradition.
My family doesn't really do slush. We're more of like a champagne and oysters Rockefeller type of family on Christmas.
You're from town, aren't you?
Yeah, big townie, big townie.
Have you tried slush before?
Absolutely.
Do you want to try slush?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. It's non-alcoholic, right? I'm in the middle of my workday.
Non-alcoholic.
Okay.
Non-alcoholic slush.
Amazing.
Merry Christmas.
It's not coming out.
I think that looks fantastic.
That is quality. Absolutely.
quality?
Absolutely.
I did it. Thoughts?
That's fresh.
All right. Would you try this with your fancy towny supper?
I think we would.
Oh, we've got it covered. And that's pretty much it. Slush. We're on board. Thank you. You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Okay, we're back in my house, and it's finally time for me to try the slush. I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous. I don't normally consume drinks like this out of a salt beef bucket. That's not really my thing. But we're gonna give it a shot, because I live here now, and this is a tradition. So. Okay, it's actually really good. Yeah, I can finish this bucket, no problem.
I mean, it is Tibbs Eve, of course.
Yeah, it's true.
And
True.
what a gorgeous day it was for most people on the island and, well, really across the province. Daniel Devon sent us this great shot. I'll tell you where this is to when we come back.
Okay, so wind down the show with the picture. Do you want any words of wisdom for the storm?
If you have any last-minute shopping ideas, maybe grab a shovel.
I'll bet you, yeah, actually. There you go, last-minute gift idea.
Gift idea, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I bet you the stores tonight will be a bit crazy.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I've already seen like lots of things on Twitter that everything is just crazy busy. So.
All right, take it easy out there.
Yes.
Don't want to get hurt.
It's a good idea.
A photo?
Yeah, let's take a look at the photo. Beautiful shot there of. Do you have any idea where that is?
Yes.
It's Corner Brook.
Yeah, I know it was the West Coast.
Yes, that's
Bay of Islands, yeah.
That's the view of the Bay of Islands. Yeah, Tibbsy view. What a gorgeous day. I've seen some nice sunset photos sent in today too as well. Daniel Devon sent us that great shot. And if you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Yep, excellent. Tibbs Eve. Also, my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
And happy shoveling. Be safe tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Good night.